I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a Books Beside My Bed video for you where I wrap up the last week's worth of reading. This is my reading week from the 20th until the 25th of February. I read 6 things this week, a total of 2,124 pages, and my yearly reading total is 97 books. Full confession, I have filmed this video, well this is my 3rd time filming it, and every time I get to a certain point in the video, my camera dies and loses all of the footage. So I'm going to try and get through this. I've switched camera cards and hopefully that will help. I actually have no idea what's going on and it's kind of driving me insane. But that's okay because we're here to talk about books, so we're going to jump into it. The first 2 books that I read this week were part of Evie Mitchell's Nameless Souls MC series. So there are currently 3 books out and there is a 4th book that has a title, which I'm very excited to read that when it is released. This series is a very post-apocalyptic dystopian series that does deal with a pandemic and a virus that has basically decimated society and the world, so be aware of that going into it. We are dealing with 2 groups of people. We have the men in the MC group and we also have a group of women who had managed to hide out at a university. They're very capable, very competent women who will have various skill sets that help them to survive the end of the world. In the very first book, those women had to seek shelter with the MC group and now they're working collectively, and that's where we kick off in Wrath, and this one is about Wrath and the daughter of the former MC president, Kate. Specific members of both groups are travelling north along the East Australian coastline because they are headed up to the mother chapter of the MC because they've got some technology and things like that that are going to help make communication between the groups easier. Along the way, a lot of things happen and Wrath and Kate end up becoming closer, and what we discover along the way is they had a relationship when Kate was younger, but obviously Kate left the MC group because her father was not particularly a nice man, and now that they've reconnected, they're working through a lot of their past. So this one was really fun. And then the one I was really excited to read was Ghost. This one is about Ghost and Ava. Ava is the protector of the women's group. She was former army, and when the world ended, she got out. She ended up connecting with this group of women and she was their protector, but she also trained them how to fight and how to survive. Ava and Ghost end up splitting off from the group that's traveling to Queensland because they've got whisper that some of the girls that were kidnapped from their original group prior to the start of the first book might be held as prizes at an illegal fight ring. When you are reading this one, I would caution that this deals with a lot of misogyny. At the end of the world, women are seen as commodities, not so much to the heroes, but to men in general in the world. And so they're treated as property. And these women are being held as prizes and people enter their women so that they can enter the fight and then they can win back their woman plus another one. So it's kind of gross, but you know, I wish I could say that I didn't believe that that would happen, but I would totally believe that that would happen. Ava and Ghost have to work together. Ghost is going to enter into the competition to try and win back Ava's friends, but in order to do that, Ava has to be entered as a prize. And so they're working through that, as well as the fact that Ghost has basically been non-verbal for the majority of the series so far because he is a former assassin and basically does the same job for the MC group, but he really has to open up to Ava so that she trusts him. I also reread Caressed by Ice. I was buddy reading this with Izzy from Happy for Now. This is the 3rd book in the Side Changeling series and Izzy was reading it for the first time, so I was really excited to read it and hear her thoughts as she was reading it for the first time. This is my 4th time rereading it, so I've talked about this a lot on my channel. I even have a full separate video for it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I will say that this book in particular has content warnings for torture of a child in terms of Judd when he was growing up and being trained as a Psi assassin. And also Brenna in the very first book of the series, Slave to Sensation, was kidnapped, tortured and physically, mentally and sexually abused by another Psi male. So there's a lot of trauma and healing that has to happen in this book. Judd and Brenna have the most incredible dynamic the whole way through the book and you just spend the whole time going, come on, come on, come on. It is the slowest of slow burns, but my God, is it good. If you've been living under a rock on my channel, Side Changeling is a sci-fi paranormal romance series. It is fantastic. This is my favorite book in the series, followed very, very closely by Heart of Obsidian, but this one just holds a special place in my heart. I also read Judge by Jessica Gadziella. This is the first book in her most recent series, The Shady Valley Henchman. This one follows judge who is an ex-con and formerly worked for the local mafia. He's released from prison and he is offered a job with the Shady Valley henchmen. And on his first night out of prison, they take him out drinking and he ends up sleeping with this woman he meets at a bar. As it turns out, her name is Delaney, and he actually knows her, but he just doesn't remember her. What he doesn't realize at the time that they're having sex is that 1, she knows him, 2, she's a virgin, and he just walks away at the end of it, which is rather annoying. Also, she happens to be the youngest daughter of a group of men who run the Irish mob in town, and so they are very unhappy with him. As soon as he realizes a lot of these things, he does try to go back and find her, and then he also finds out who she is and that he knows her, and then he goes well out of his way to try and fix the problem. They all end up in Las Vegas at some point, and there's a whole lot of things that are happening there. So this one was entertaining. It was very quick and easy to read, and I'm interested to see what Jessica Gaziella does with this series and the characters that we meet in it. I also read Bound in Black by Juliet Cross. This is the 3rd book in the Vessel trilogy. It's the final book in the series as well, and in this one we have Genevieve who has to travel to the underworld in order to retrieve something that she has lost, and in order to do that she has to make some deals with unlikely allies. She spends the entire book fighting to regain what she's lost and who she's lost, and dealing with the fallout of the war between the angels and the demons, and then of course there's a whole lot of reveals that happen along the way. This is a new adult paranormal romance series. It is very entertaining, and if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I would recommend it. And then finally, I read Do You Want to Start a Scandal by Tessa Dare. This is book 5 in the Spindle Cove series, which I have not read, and book 4 in the Castles Ever After series, which I have. This one follows Charlotte Highwood, who is the youngest of 3 daughters, and she has a meddling mother who is trying to marry her off to the wealthiest, most eligible men around her, and so Charlotte has got a bit of a reputation as a result of that. And the hero of the story is Piers Brandon, or Lord Granville, who is a Marquess. And this book opens at a ball, and both Charlotte and Piers are in the library, and they end up having to hide when a tryst happens in the library. And the mysterious lovers disappear afterwards, and everyone thinks that it was Charlotte and Piers, and so there is a betrothal of convenience that occurs, and Charlotte is trying to figure out who the mysterious lovers are so that she can let Brandon out of this deal. But along the way they work out that they actually have quite a bit in common. As with all Tessa Dare books, it's very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I haven't read Tessa Dare in a while, so it was nice to go back to this and to just read something a little bit different to everything else that I've been picking up recently. So those are all the books that I read this week. I can't believe I got through this video without it cutting off on me again, so I'm really excited about that. In the comments, I would love to hear what you have been reading over the last week, or if you have read any of these books, feel free to let me know and we can chat about them. If you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave an ice cube emoji. One, because Caressed by Ice was in here, but also because it's been really hot here in Melbourne and I have not been coping. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.